Well, one more time, welcome everyone. This is our spring product update for StudySpaces. It's going to be a tour of everything we've shipped this spring. I call it a season like it's a Bridgerton. Uh, but this is going to be a lot of the features that we find really exciting, and but we cannot cover all of them. In fact, apparently we have shipped over 60 different features this spring, 60 different improvements. But we highlighted today about 10 of them. You will see 6 of them in detail. So I'm gonna just jump right into it. The first thing, the 6 that we're gonna cover are gonna be related to some importing group classes. We're gonna be announcing a new practice test. We'll talk about some content security for organization owners. And some improvements like student dashboard and Zapier integrations. But without spoiling it too much, let me get started. So the number one is we have announced this quietly a little bit on our social media, but we have now a tight integration with Bluebook. So if your students are taking the tests on Bluebook, which they should, you should be able to actually bring in their results to the platform very easily. So I'm going to actually demo this from the SAT perspective first, then I'm going to also show you how this would work for paper tests for ACT. So let's start with the SAT Bluebook. So I'm going to go to my account. I'm going to find, let's say, the student I want to import results for. And on your dashboard, you will see right after this call, this is actually not live for everybody. It's been enabled on a account by account basis. But right after this call, this will be publicly available, so you should be able to use it. You will see a new tracker called Goal Tracker. So this is a widget that is available to you. However, you can also make this available to your students. So by just clicking on this gear button, and there's a visible to student button. You can control this at any time. This is actually one of our few widgets you can control on a per student basis, whether they show up on the student side or not. And the idea here is that you can set the exam type for this widget. You can set when the exam is going to be, and you can say, oh, they're about to take the exam on, let's say, the 31st of July, and they're trying to get, let's say, 1550. And the widget has some elements, like it will show them how many days left until their exam date, and their goal is going to be set instead of the 1600 that's by default. So at this point, if you want to bring in an attempt yourself as a tutor, you can use our log attempt. You can paste from Bluebook. There's a video that will show you how to do this, and I'm going to actually demonstrate this real. So I'm going to go to my, please do not judge me for my scores on Bluebook. This is, okay, I have to log in one more time. So the video will actually showcase this like click by click, but this is a process you might be already used to. So you will click on all questions, and the new thing that College Board added is the show correct answers. So you have to click on that now for the answers to show up, otherwise the import will not work. But all you have to do is select everything on the screen and copy. That's all. All I did is just select everything. I use the Command A. I think it's a Control A in Windows. And I'm going to go back to the same screen that I was. I'm going to paste the results in here. And the moment I do that, it's going to pull in the correct answers, the wrong answers. And all you have to do is actually, you have to still put in your scale score, because that information is not available on that screen directly. So your students have to put in the score here. But then it still pulls in actually the domain breakdown, and you can import this result from Bluebook. So that way, this attempt will be logged. Did not update this too much, because that attempt was an old attempt. So we actually take the exact attempt date of when they took it as well. So that'll be there automatically. But I can click on any of them, and you will actually see that this actually came into the platform like a session the student would take on the platform. So it has things like analytics. It will show actually what the things that they missed, and some of these elements could be actually super useful. My demo account here may not be the cleanest. That you'll see there's some extra tags, but most of your accounts I know are pretty spotless and in terms of tagging. So you will see very meaningful analytics for each of the exams, and you will see this module by module. So that is the feature, and sometimes we see this tutors want to be able to extend this feature to their students. So do you want the students to do this on their own, for them to be able to bring it in? And that is totally fine. And we have an option for that says allow student to import scores. So if you turn this on, then student will also have the same import availability on their end that they can do the exact same process. The video is available on both sides. So that is how you can integrate and bring in the results. And sometimes this will happen as well. If you have a score from a third party, and that's totally fine, you can just bring in the scores yourselves. This you just have to type in what date they took the exam and then what their raw score and what's their scaled score. So we want this goal tracker to be like the one place where you can actually track their entire progress, and just have a single source of truth for their practice data. Now, the second part of what if the students taking actually an ACT test, and most of the times if they're taking ACT, we have as a ACT affiliates, a lot of people have access to the materials already that they can assign from StudySpaces, but obviously ACT paper seems to be still the more popular choice that people are giving it on paper. And the way that happens is I'm going to actually quickly switch this over. Actually, I'm going to keep it right here. Under history, you're now able to import the results. So we call it a manual import. And the reason we call it manual import is because you have to actually still pick which exam the student took. Let's say most people will have this ACT practice test folder on there. It'll show you all the exams. So imagine they took, let's say they took the October MAK on paper. You can just tell us that they took the October MAK and you want to send the student a way to put in their answers. So it's kind of like a digital Scantron. And at this point, it will generate a link that you can send to a student. For this link, for them to fill this link, they don't have to be actually logged in. They can do this on their phone if they want to. They can do this in a browser. You can also email it to them in one click if that's easier. But let me show you quickly what that looks like. It looks like a digital Scantron. So students can go ahead and they can just actually put in a key in their answers. And at the end of the whole thing, they will just submit. And this will also come in as a session they took on StudySpaces, already pre-graded. So I'm going to actually showcase this all the way through by submitting this. Since there's a lot of data here, it might take maybe 10 to 20 seconds for this grading to fully work. But now this has finished. I'm going to jump back into this page. And under the history, I'll see this enhanced ACT test October that they took. So they got 1 out of 36. So the benefit of doing this way is you actually also get access to question review. So you will see actually exactly question by question what they get right, what they get wrong, and then you get a full detailed analytics on those as well. So that is the benefit of those two features, that you can, whether they're taken off the platform, and this will happen all the time, people will be taking tests off the platform. You should be able to bring them in and still store them and review them on StudySpaces.
Perfect.
All right.
Jim, 2 quick questions before you move on to the next one.
Sure thing. All right, there's 2 questions in here.
Yep.
Let me open that. Do you have to enter the test number or does the copy take? Okay, great question. I'm assuming this is referring to the Bluebook test. Is that right? Yeah, Bluebook test will take care of that automatically. So you don't have to enter the test number. The system will already recognize it based on the answer frequency, the answer sheet itself.
Thank you.
Does this work for assessive ACT practice test as well? Yes, it does. Yes, this works for any practice test that's on the platform. Since we're making you select which test you have assigned through the import flow, so it means we already know which test it's going to be in. So, all right. So moving on to the next one, and it's probably going to require a live demo. This is for folks who are doing boot camps, classes, and want to be able to actually do a group tutoring where you can see the results in real time. So to demonstrate this properly, I'm going to ask, I actually have some of my team members here as well who will help us with this demo. So let's go into cohorts. So some of you may have been already using cohorts. The idea of a cohort is that this is fantastic for group classes. It's a way to bundle students together into a cohort, and you can have shared calendar that they all share. So in this case, I can create one task that's going to go to everyone in that cohort. So I'm going to go to there. I'm going to go there. I have 3 students in that cohort. And I'm going to create something, an assignment that's going to be, I'm going to pick, let's say, one of our SAT tests. I'm going to pick the second one. This is going to go out to all 3 of them. I do not want emails for this. And this is save and schedule. Now, I can click on this test now. And I have this new button called monitor. So if you're doing this live in a classroom, you can click on this monitor feature. It will take you to a new mode of the submission grid called a live mode. So I'm going to wait a couple of seconds for our team members to join in. Okay, so one student has already started doing this practice. And then we should have 2 more. Okay, we have another one. As you can see live, you can see the answers that they're putting in and which question that they're on. So if you're in a Zoom call just like this, you can say, "Hey Jesse, you're moving a little too fast," since you're getting and you're getting a lot of them wrong, and you can have them actually backtrack and go to the ones where they haven't done. For each question, you can also click on them and see, oh, they answered A, but the answer was actually B.
Mm.
In real time. So all those numbers will update, and then you will see this live tracker. It means that they're actually in the session. If they somehow leave the session, this will also show that it's paused. So it doesn't. So you know exactly who's actually on this. So this could be fantastic because on this view, you might have a practice test too. Let's say you have given a multiple, like hundreds of times to students. You can limit this to specific cohort. So in this case, it could be, hey, this is going to be all my summer cohort students, and this is going to be just a summer cohort. If you're even within the cohort, maybe you have reused your cohort, or if you have used it too many times, you can use our date picker. And it says, I want people who started this between a certain date. So you can really filter it down to a specific set of students that you want to test this with. So this is the feature, and you can see that this is paused now. At any point, you can click on it. It will take you to the actual session that you can review for Jesse. Even if it's live, you can actually review this. But hopefully, this should be a fantastic tool for you to use during a class. And as you use them, if other use cases do come up, please do let us know. This is our kind of a first attempt at this live class feature. So I would love to hear what you think and how you use this. I'm going to move back to my slides. All right, the third one, it looks like it's not even a surprise anymore. So we have a practice test 5 that is available now through the content store. This is in our series of adaptive SAT tests. So we have 4 of them right now live in the content store, and this is the 5th one that just launched. It is not available until the end of the call, but when the call is over, you will notice this in your library. So automatically, it will actually appear inside your library, inside the folder that says SAT practice tests, and you will see it right there. So it is early. We had a couple of tutors who take the test and review it question by question. If you do notice anything about difficulty or about other things, please do let us know. I did get a note about the difficulty of this. This is supposed to be an average difficulty. It's not supposed to be too hard or too easy. This is not specifically meant for necessarily higher scoring students or lower scoring students. This should be more aligned with what Bluebook normally gives. So we'd love to hear your thoughts as you enable this. I think most people in this call already should have access to this right after the call. All right. So this is probably the most relevant if you are tutoring business owner and you're working with other tutors who are like you are hiring tutors, you have team members coming in. And specifically I mentioned this because we had clients come in, and these are maybe tutors, companies with maybe 20 plus tutors who had specific needs about how they want to protect their IP that's on the platform. So whenever maybe you hire tutors, and then what happens if the tutors leave and you have to offboard them? How do you make sure that your IP stays yours in that process? But even when they're tutoring, how do you make sure that people just cannot just download the materials that you have on there. So we launched a set of things that is related to this, and I'm going to show you two of those specifically. So number one is as an owner of an organization, you already have access to the team section. We launched very granular permission settings that you can enable per role. So you should be able to see this as an owner. And so now as an owner, you can set permission controls on a very, very specific set of features on the platform, starting from student management to library management to question and tags and diagnostics and cohorts and classrooms. So this should give you hopefully all the tools needed to be able to protect and to be able to actually give the right set of permissions to your tutors and to your team members, and be able to also handle transitions very easily. So whenever you bring in a new tutor or maybe they're offboarding off the platform, this should be a smooth process. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you should be able to have this page and see this page on your end already. And the second feature I'm going to show is probably more very easy to enable, and that is under advanced, you'll see a feature under security. And we're calling it PDF watermarks. So the idea behind feature is that sometimes you have documents that you are okay with your tutors downloading. You're okay with your students downloading. This could be maybe practice tests, or this could be resources, public resources. But sometimes you may have very sensitive information, like maybe your dear and beloved workbooks. You do not want people maybe to steal your workbooks or be able to take away your workbooks. But still, it's very important for people to be able to use them on the platform with their students, with your students. So we have this very simple feature you can enable. And the idea is that whenever you enable every tutor, every tutor will see a watermark, a very slight watermark on those PDFs with their name on it. Actually, it will be with their email on it and a timestamp that gets refreshed. So in a certain case, if they end up taking the PDF as well, it will have the name, so you'll be able to identify exactly where it's coming from very easily. More importantly, the watermark feature also is a deterrent in the first place. I think you having the watermark in there is just gonna help people understand, like, this is intellectual property of the company that they're using, and this only applies to files that are not downloadable. So there's a feature when you actually upload a file on the platform, you can toggle this. I'm going to show you real quickly. For every PDF on the platform, you have this setting called downloadable. So if it's already downloadable, then nothing changes about that behavior. It's already clean. The students can download, your tutors can download. But if it's not downloadable, it means that we assume that this is your IP, and this is a sensitive document that you want to protect on the platform. That is the scope of those two features related to ownership control and IP. All right, moving on to the next one. Student dashboard. Student dashboard was due for some reforms and some improvements. So we brought some to you. Number one, you will notice, okay, here we go. The number one you'll notice is actually the goal tracker itself. The goal tracker is available to students. You can enable this on day one. It's going to look something similar to what you're seeing on your screen. It's going to be right after assignments. Your assignments are still number one, which we want to make sure that kids do their homework. And then you will also notice a new one called Strengths and Weaknesses that is also available to students. I did not turn this on by default for anyone, but I will show you how you can do that. Just I didn't want to create any type of disruption in the student experience in a way that you did not intend to. So, but this is available, and we also have the performance analytics one, the really long, really detailed one, also available to be enabled for students. So if you have not seen this before, I'm going to show you quickly where to find those settings. For any classroom that you have, you should be able to go to settings and configs. And in the classroom configs, you will see all those features. I mean, first of all, these are all your tabs that are available and visible to students. But within the dashboard itself, you will see widgets. That's the custom practice button, the adaptive practice button, daily practice. So you have full control as an owner or an admin to modify them. two new ones we have added are these two, the strengths and weaknesses and performance analytics. So you can turn this on, and then the two that we are retiring, when I say retiring, we're just not turning it on by default anymore for any future classrooms, are the engagement chart and this spider chart that we have that's normally available for students. So those two will be off by default. It is not in your current classrooms. If you like to, you can go and disable those and enable the other ones as you like. So that is our student dashboard improvements. And all right, so we've had a lot of feedback. We have a lot of very ambitious tutors who are doing very interesting projects with StudySpaces and how they use the data from StudySpaces. And we don't want to be the place where everything happens for your tutoring business necessarily. You may have your own dashboards that you want to create, your own reports that you want to actually make. So what we made is we have connected StudySpaces to Zapier in some new ways. So in the past, the Zapier was the way to bring students into StudySpaces. So maybe you have some payment, automation that when the students pay, they get added to StudySpaces, or some kind of an email automation. But now StudySpaces can also trigger, so it means take information out of StudySpaces. And the two triggers that we're enabling right now are submission completed and then new enrollments. So every time a submission happens on the platform, it means anytime any student completes any assignment or does any self-practice, so adaptive, daily, there is a trigger that you can use to do very interesting things. And some of them I'll just give you as an example. You can write it into a Google Sheet, for example. So all the data can go to a Google Sheet. And from there on, as you know, the opportunities are limitless. So you can create your own dashboards, you can create your own reports. And there is over 7,000 tools that Zapier connects to. So you can take this to and connect it to really anything you would like to connect it to. So I will be posting some blog posts about some of the use cases that we find that are interesting that people are doing. Like specifically, actually, I'll mention one off the top of my head is so we have a leaderboard feature that actually uses engagement as a metric to be able to show students who are doing better, who are not doing better. In engagement, we say how many questions they've done on the platform. We have some tutors who actually have different philosophies on what the leaderboard should be like, or how they want to really show that feature. So with this information, you can actually build your own leaderboards. You can actually show the leaderboards and then showcase this to the community in different ways. So that's just an idea on that level, but I think Zapier is very powerful in a way that we want to make sure you can use it in the best way that's best for your business. All right. And among the 60 plus things, I wanted to highlight a couple that are maybe did not make the top 6, but it's still their important features. So number 1 is homework reminders. We actually launched it about maybe a month ago. This idea is that you can set up an automatic reminder system on the platform. So your students will get an automatic reminder for every homework that they have on that has a due date. And enabling this is actually as simple as under your settings, you will see the first thing called reminders. You just have to turn this on and set how long ahead of time you want the reminder to be sent. And that is as simple as that. Going forward to the next one, the bulk assign. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Rob. I think a lot of people wanted this feature to be able to assign multiple things at the same time to a student. And now you can. You should be able to do this both from the library. So if I'm in the, let's say, worksheets, and I want to assign this directly from here, or you can select multiple of them, and you can assign this to a student in one click. So they will all actually live as separate assignments, but there'll be only one email sent to the student. So that's very important. So don't worry that we're not sending them like 20 emails for the 20 assignments you made. So we are bundling them into one. All right. So the next one is negative penalty grading. This is specifically something that Kelly Frendell really helped us figure out and launch. This is important for certain exams like SSAT, where there is a negative grading still for the questions that students get, like students, I believe, yeah, it was just get wrong, they get negative grading versus 0, like as SAT. So this is something that's supported now as well. So if you build your own practice tests, which I know some of you do, you can now set different grading for every correct, every incorrect, or every unanswered. The next one is a bulk invite. If you can bring in a bunch of students all at once to the platform through a CSV import, so you can do that directly from the students sidebar. Status in the library. So this is what the Lori was talking about regarding how in the library, when you're assigning something to a student, we now show if the student has done it before or not. And quickly to demonstrate that, I will go to the student and I'm going to create an assignment. I'm going to browse library, and you will already see that this one was assigned and it's overdue. And maybe inside here, you will see that this one was completed. The student has done this before, and they got a 400 out of 1600. So you will see actually these assignments, these statuses, and if it's completed, they will actually take you to the assignment submission directly from there. All right, and the last one is, I hope you have noticed, it is that library improvement. So actually, starting from here, you have now ability to be able to limit things to the things that you have created only, the things that are private to you. This is maybe very important when you have maybe a lot of tutors working with you, and everyone is creating their own things, and as an admin, you just happen to see everything, and maybe that could make your life as a tutor very hard. So we made it so that you can just now filter by the things that you've created only, and this will let you keep your library much, much cleaner. This is the end of my updates, but I want to open it up and see if people have any questions.